Hi, I'm Ryan Harkin, and this is level 42. So, yeah, it's well, the 42 comes from Douglas Adams, not really from the band, but it turns out the band get the 42 from Douglas Adams as well. So, yeah, it started off really just as a way of showing off my little spaceship that I built, but really it's kind of dwarfed the spaceship in the end up. And so I started off with a small ship. Peter Reed, who's been mentoring me to build some stuff, sort of said to me, Ryan, you need to build a spaceship. It's got to be classic space. So I started off, and once I had a small ship ready, I thought, well, I need somewhere to put it. So I built a landing pad, expanded from there, really, and started off with a single floor with the lights in it. And then, yeah, of course, after the lights go, then you realize to take photographs of this thing, it's going to have to be in the sort of aspect ratio of a camera. And it was kind of looking a bit widescreen, but somewhat stretched as well. So I just built higher and higher. So I ended up with 3 floors in the end up from 1. So once I'd done that, it was great. I'd built what I had, but I just had this idea of my magnetic road. And I just thought, well, okay, I've got to put that in front. So then, of course, it got a little bit deeper. And then I thought, well, I can't have the magnetic road at the very front of the hangar. It has to be deeper again. So I ended up I just doubled the size of it just with this concept of the road. So unfortunately, the video you're taking now, the road's running a little bit jerky because I've got something snagged underneath. But it was running nice and smooth at the last show I had. But I'll fix that this evening, and it'll be all nice and smooth again. But it had a lot of people mesmerized at how these things move because, hey, they don't have a motor in something that small, right? So, yeah, magnets did the trick. So there's been an upsurge in Bricklink sales on magnets, I believe. Yeah, and of course there's all the hidden room details as well. And the first time I showed this is now my second time. It was St. Patrick's Day, and that's why there's an Irish pub over the far side there. And yeah, and I'm in there with a 3D printed head, which my wife gave to me as a birthday present that same year. So which is earlier this year. So. I've ended up in there. So it's that 3D printed head, and the monitor at the back there are the only non-Lego items in the whole thing. 60 sets of power function lights, and so I've blown my limit of 50 that Lego allow me to buy. So yeah, it's Bricklink it is, and they cost a bit more there. But well, what are you going to do, right? I needed more lights, so got to buy them. It's just what you do. But yeah, it's just the little details that have gone into it, really, that they're sort of like fun to do, I've started with all my builds incorporating a little mouse, for example. So somewhere there's a little mouse hiding. Today there are a lot more creatures in there because Kev from Fairy Bricks has been going around basically hiding creatures in people's mocks. So you'll find a few sort of French bulldogs and a few hamsters and things around this one as well, who aren't normally there. But, that's just a bit of fun, right? Yeah, so started off just as a landing pad for a spaceship, and it's moved on from there.
It's great to hear how that kind of naturally grew as you just wanted to include more and more details.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, it just took on a life of its own, and I was sort of running out of things. When I built it, all the rooms were empty at first, and so I was building the structure as my main sort of thing. But then, of course, before the show, I was thinking, right, what am I going to put in these rooms? And the only thing I knew for sure was I wanted to have a Lego store in it. Because, in the future, we're still going to want to buy our Lego, whether we're living in space or whether we're living on Earth or whatever, it doesn't matter. We're going to want to buy our Lego. So, and of course, that then followed was no matter where you go in the world, you'll always find an Irish pub. So, again, the St. Patrick's Day thing connected there as well. So that worked out quite well. So yeah, I've got server rooms and offices and things that you would find in a working hangar. That's the idea, right? Because all that admin is needed to be able to ship the Lego around the universe, you see. So, yeah.
So what kind of sections does this break down to for transport then?
Oh yeah, it breaks down quite small, really. So basically each block of offices will break into one section. So there's 2 floors of offices there, or the Lego store and the Irish pub is one section. So that small of a module is how small it breaks into. So yeah, it breaks into quite a few pieces really in the end. And yeah, it's hard to show, but I'm showing here that this is a module, and then the legs, basically they're sat on hollow legs to basically to raise them up. And the walls that are sort of ground floor level all the way around, those walls they're literally facades, and there's nothing behind those except for the one on the front left where there's a little storeroom where the mouse is hiding, right? So yeah, the hidden mouse in there, but all the other bits they're just greebles and things, and the storeroom at the front right, that's locked at the moment because basically I haven't filled in anything in behind there. I didn't want to have just another storeroom, so I couldn't think of what to put there, so that ended up being blocked off. So yeah, the ground floor behind it's hollow and empty, but again those facades just come off as a wall, and it's a flat wall really it comes off as one piece, and then the computer monitor at the back, of course, is just slid in there. The cross beam above the computer monitor is a separate piece that just lifts off. That's not studded in any way. It's just a piece that you lift off and stick in a box. And all the legs are put together with Technic pins, so I can flat pack them and then reassemble them. The landing pad is separate from the numbered sections off to the side of it. So, because the idea of the landing pad is that, well, this is the size of the pad for the show model, because the show model has the magnetic road. But the intention when I take photographs of it is I'm going to have a landing pad that's double the size, and I'm going to put a larger ship on there. So the idea for photographs is the ship will be the star of the photograph, not the hangar. If you know what I mean, the hangar will literally be a backdrop for a ship, which is what it was meant to be originally. But in the show, it's really the magnetic road is the star of the show, right? But and the ship is just an incidental thing there. But yeah, having it built now, the ship looks rather small, especially next to Peter Reed's LL497. I mean, it's tiny by comparison, right? And I need to up my game a bit if I'm going to compete with that, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, it's a very impressive model overall, though. You've got the movement, all the lighting is super nice, so I'm glad you were able to bring it out and display it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Nice talking to you.